Hey Barbara, how you doing? Just finished up the analysis on your home. It is looking a lot better than it did when I last analyzed the cobblestone house before I listed it, probably 4 months ago. But hopefully this will be enough for you to move on to the next place in your life. As you can see, this is an old listing. I don't think this was because it's so old. It was um, 2007. So this is probably just before you bought it. What you can see, a couple things, is the square footage is 1,939. That's going to be our multiplier as we carry this out and kind of figure out a price per square foot. I've already done all the homework and the math here, so I'm just going to walk you through it. So first thing we do is we do look at all the comps in your neighborhood. Now, this is the tax record. Just wanted to point out that you're still being taxed on 1,700 square feet. I'm sure that's the bonus room, so that's a good thing. They'll catch the codes department will catch up with that eventually. And then here's our comparable sales for cobblestone. Now, honestly, I went way too far back. The thinking there is that if I find a higher comparable sale that's old, then clearly the house should have appreciated since 2012 because that is the market trend. I wouldn't go back to 2012 in a downturning market. But in this case, I went all the way back to the beginning of 2012 because I already knew the comps were very sparse. It's just not big enough of a neighborhood to give me the comparables that I need. So we're going to hover over these. What you see is $87 a square foot, $86 a square foot, 82, 82, 82, 73. Let's look at this one. A lot of this can just be timing. It can literally be what the inventory was the second this one came on the market, and say they were having to compete with other people, and that would cause a problem. The house looks sharp enough. Bad marketing. Photos look horrible, but that doesn't explain away the 73 a square foot. We may never know exactly why that sold for as little as it did. So go back to the list, and then we come back here to hover over it again to $80 a square foot. So that doesn't look real good for you because that obviously puts the house a lot cheaper than I really want to sell it for. So what we do is, a real appraiser is going to go outside the neighborhood. So he has to go outside the neighborhood for at least one comp by most lenders' requirements. I know conventional loans and FHA loans, they have to. So we're going to hover over these real quick. $86, $82, $82, $82, $90. We like that one a lot in Enon Springs. A very comparable neighborhood. And then $82, $81, and $85. So that will kind of give you basically where we are with the with the past sales. We call those competitive sales. Comparable sales. I like to just call them reality sales. That's our data. And now the next part of our analysis is where we look at the competitive sales, or as I like to call it, fantasy land. We're trying to see if we're bringing value to the market, and if so, how far can we stretch above the comparable sales. So as I'm scrolling through here, I'm not going to go into this in detail. What you see is, as you're looking at the yellow, you're seeing everything that is under contract. So when you're driving through Smyrna right now, you would see this many houses in the price range that your house would be selling at, and very few of those would actually be on the market. That gives you an idea. The inventory is still very low. And then what I did here, same thing, and then I get to the point where I just cull all these out. Okay, I left one of them by accident. So we're going to cull all of these, the ones that are active with the contract out. And so this is what is available for the current buyer. And we've ordered these by price per square foot. So if somebody's a value shopper, they're just trying to get a good value for their money, we're trying to get to your 1,939 square feet house with a minimum of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. All these, of course, have that minimum of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths right around here. And then we see for 185, you get 1,800 square feet. For 189, you get 1,800 square feet, so you're right around here. So this is where we start to fall in, start getting closer to your square footage. At 1,800 square feet, we're going to flip over and look at this one real quickly. This one's an older house that, in my opinion, isn't good competition for your house. So I think we should be able to be above that one at 174. And then the next one comes out to 192. So that is really, really good for us. Now, of course, they don't have a contract at 192. They're going to settle probably within 2 to 4% of that. But if we go to look at these right here, and we're going to flip through them one by one, you see that this one hasn't been built yet. So it's not an option right now for someone who wanted to have a house. It's probably going to be built with cheaper finishes. This one also is representing a slightly better, about the same value, but is more expensive. And the house, in some ways, may be better, but it's on a really busy road. That's turning people off. So we get to this one again. Hasn't been built yet. And then this one is the first one that I say, okay, now we're really looking at the lid on our competition. Not only is it priced for less per square foot than we want to price at, it's very comparable in the sense that it's in really good shape. It looks really sharp. So that says to me that we're probably selling below the 190 right there. So going back to my final analysis, what I would say, flip back, okay. So this is our market analysis after I've summed it up and done all the math on everything. The reality says your house is worth about $80 to $90 a square foot. That means the comparables we looked at, the 91 is almost an outlier. It's close enough in line that I'm not going to cull it out because it's close enough to our 86 and our 82s. But 90 is certainly the high end. And like I told you when we met, I'm not going to worry too much about appraisals. That's just going to be a bridge we're going to have to cross when we come to it. But having that one at $90 a square foot would not be enough for the appraiser. He's going to want to have 3 total to justify the price. So then, if we positioned your house among our past comparable sales, I would be looking at $90 a square foot, and that sale price would be $174,000. So to keep going, now we're going to go into Fantasyland, and that basically says that if the inventory is sparse enough, especially for cobblestone, we should be able to exceed our past comparable sales. So we want to go above past comparable sales, even that $90 square foot one. And the $90 square foot, when thumbing through the photos, it does look like some of the upgrades are a little bit nicer than what we have right now, but it still gives us a good solid number for us to shoot for. And that means that I would want to market the property at least $15,000 above our past comparable sales at $189 a square foot. The reason why is I really think this represents a niche in the market because the inventory is so low. I don't see anything that is better than your house would be at $189. And that may be just a tad high, but I don't feel like we'd have to negotiate off that too much. So I feel much more optimistic about it. I do think 185 would probably be our probable sales price, but I do think 189 would be our best marketing price. So hope that helps you. Again, if nothing else, I know you're not in this world every day, but a lot of the models out there for realtors is always to list at comparables, get the house sold, and move on to the next one. I like to sleep at night, and so I try to make my clients as much money as possible, and it's just been proven to me time and time again that if realtors would price the houses above comparable sales in a rising market, they would get it. You may run into appraisal problems, but that's just a bridge we're going to cross when we get to it, because there just seems to be such an inconsistency in when we run into the appraisal problems and when we don't. So I think we'll get our appraisal if we're under 190. And if we don't, we'll worry about that then. So hope that helps you, Barbara. I'm going to follow up with you on a phone call tomorrow, but take a look at this and let me know what you think. Thanks.